What up, everybody, and welcome back to Chris's Book Club. This is Disrupt You by Samit. Now, we are on chapter 10, which is titled Design, Disruption Through the Aesthetics. The quote of this chapter is, "Design is where science and art break even." And this quote was said by Robin Matthew. So again, I'll go through my highlights and then I'll kind of explain kind of the reason for the highlight and more about this chapter. But do you think you could improve on something already in existence? If you do, you are ready to disrupt the design link in the value chain. Michael Kors, Kate Spade, and Tory Burch didn't invent the handbag. Nike and Converse didn't invent the running shoe. Unlike innovators who try to disrupt through research and development and must find a new previously unseen way to introduce something to the market, design disruption focuses on the art of simply building something better. So again, when you think of design, don't just think about the design of this microphone or the design of a book, right? It talks about how you could improve on something, how you could benefit from an established brand, how you could expand your brand even more. So it's kind of like being an innovative person who goes after maybe something that's already made or something that has created such a name for itself that you're able to expand in multiple and different areas. In our mass market world, even the smallest incremental improvement in manufacturing efficiencies can yield billion-dollar results. Quaker State had spent millions of dollars to buy its competitive advantage through superior means of production. So Quaker State later emerges with Pennzoil. And so what it was they got tired of the cardboard and tin canning business where people in the old days used to get their oil and it was very sloppy, very messy. And sometimes, you would poke yourself with the tube that it was on, but it was just a poor design. But because one person did it, everybody else did it, right? And they decided to, let's invent a different bottle, but use plastic. And their first prototype didn't make it, right? Their first prototype didn't make the cut because it was a big plastic bottle, took up too much shelf space, and retailers didn't want to buy because it took up just way too many shelf space. So what they did after that first failure was they went back onto the drawing board and made a smaller plastic bottle that was able to fit on the shelves. And they also made a case, kind of like if you think about a pack of sodas and they each have cans of just Coke. That's what they did with their bottles as well, their plastic bottles. And because they're the first one to come out with the plastic bottle, and it was less messy, more organized, and easier to put into the car, they literally just took off. Just by being innovative, they took off, their business took off, and for a while they truly were the number one. And that's how they created their own competitive advantage. With their money, use that to invest in themselves and find a newer, innovative way to be different. And that's a lot what this book is about. It's about going after a competitive advantage or creating one. The only sustainable competitive advantage is an organization's ability to learn faster than the competition. Second, it's often the case that the solution to one industry's problem already exists in another unrelated field. The surest path to finding a way to disrupt an existing value chain is to look beyond your industry and apply transformative insights from others' businesses. Had one Quaker State executive used Perel shampoo, perhaps it would have dawned on him how packaging design could have saved the company. Just that shampoo was also, again, there was the first plastic bottle. Originally, shampoo came in glass bottles, which were super slippery when you're showering, and they would just break. They made the first plastic bottle, and for commercials, they literally used them just dropping it and it not breaking. And that gave them a competitive advantage. They literally took over the shampoo market because of plastic. And that's why he says that if an executive from Quaker would have done it sooner, they would have probably jumped into the plastic sooner. Disruption in design can be as simple as taking branding from a product in one market and applying it to another. The fundamental principle behind successful brand extensions is tapping into consumers' feelings about the brand and matching your product to the attributes associated with the established brand. ESPN means sports to consumers in much the same way that Heinz is a synonym with ketchup. It makes sense for ESPN to have a sports magazine and for Heinz to make pickle relish. But as the old saying goes, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And this is the author himself, and he's saying this because he, as well, looked into a market that needed help, right? And Microsoft was one of the only computers that was able to use CD-ROMs. And so the author's like, you know what? I want to get into this market with CD-ROMs and make a video game. And I'll get more into that. And he's like, what software, what computer really uses that? Oh, Microsoft. And he's like, you know what? This Bill Gates truly needs to expand his computers as well and to get more traffic into people buying the stuff. So he's like, you know what? Let me partner with him and tell him if he allows me to work with him, I could help benefit him. And with that, so Gates graciously sent David Geffen a letter of introduction and mailed me a copy. And what this was like, the author thought about a game, and he's like, man, how am I? And it's a game about, it's a video game about like, kind of like Guitar Hero, but before Guitar Hero, it was just about playing a game that gave people, as they beat the game, they kept leveling up, but it was all focused on bands and music and the music industry. And he's like, man, how am I going to get started? So he's like, hey, Bill Gates, if you truly want to expand your business, I have this amazing idea, but I need your help. And then Bill Gates was like, you know what? That's going to help me. I got you. And he sent a letter just like that. Geffen and I made a deal. In reality, I had given away nothing. Without those music videos, I had no product. It was a no-brainer to give Geffen 50% of our potential profit. 100% of nothing is nothing, but 50% of something can be worth millions. I hold strongly to a belief that I'd rather own half of the Pacific Ocean than all of Lake Erie. Through partnerships and licensing, disruptors can save millions of dollars it takes to establish a new brand and allow entrepreneurs to focus their limited resources on building a better product. Poor design is an opportunity for disruptors looking to make their mark without having to invent or introduce a new product to the world. Disrupting from the design link in the value chain can come from designing a better product or a clever interface or through brand extension. Design is crucial to how products are perceived by consumers. It determines how users feel about a product. Poor design presents a world of opportunity for disruptors looking to make their mark without having to invent or introduce a new product. And the author gives another example of Hipmunk, which, again, back in the day, if you wanted to travel, you go to a travel agency, they book your entire vacation, but you have to go in person. Hipmunk did the opposite. They basically created a website for you to do this on your own without the hassle of having to drive, meet somebody, get someone to do all your plans for you, probably pay them a fee, and then it's just so much. So they literally created a website just for that. And that because they were the very first website out there as your very own travel agency, you're literally setting your own vacation. They literally disrupted the travel agency industry. So chapter 11, the next chapter is titled Production, Reuse, Repurpose, and Recreate. And we'll go over that the next video. But chapter 10 was just pretty exciting. I mean, just gave more example of how you could find the next big thing without creating the next big thing. And it's just going after things that were created, things that at one point made it so far because they were new, but then came across a roadblock and was like, man, how do we continue from here? And that's where you come in. So again, this is just another idea, another way to help you get into a field where you could probably just make millions of dollars off of this, or thousands of dollars. Whatever it is, it's going to get you a lot closer to what you didn't have before. And again, the value chain is design link. So that's it. That's chapter 10. If you like this video, like, subscribe, invite your friends, continue to watch this video.